a great question we have here from Anna. Anna, can you voice your question to him, to Noam Chomsky directly? She has a bit of a bad internet connection and might get some lag. Can you ask Anna, or shall I read it for you? So the question she asked was the following. My first language is English. I started learning German at school when I was 13. I have continued to learn German since then, including spending 2 years in Germany.
Quite a long question.
And I speak German with my husband. Sorry, Anna, I'm reading it. She's getting some lag. Okay, Anna, do you want me to read the question out loud and then you can speak to Noam Chomsky? Chomsky, apologies, Noam.
I don't hear.
Yeah, okay. I'll finish reading the question then. So she spent 2 years in Germany and spoke German with her husband at home. I find now that my German affects my English in a different ways. For example, sometimes German words slip into my English speech, and these often seem to be discourse markers. For example, also, which is like well. At other times I seem to directly translate a junk, which I've learned in German, into English. What's that for an animal? Meaning, what kind of animal is that? At other times I can remember the German word and the direct translation of it. Victoria, can you switch off your speakers and your sound? Please click on the microphone icon in your own webcam. Thanks. Okay. And so back to it. And other times I can remember the German word and the direct translation of it, but not the English. For example, cake slice is Kuchenheber in German, and sometimes I will only be able to think of the literal cake lifter in English and not be able to get past this to the actual English word. So here's the question. What cognitive processes do you think are behind this, and do you think this would happen if I had acquired both languages at a very young age?
To quote a famous phrase of John Milton's, the mind is a strange place. A lot of complicated things are going on in it, and there are many individual differences. I mean, there are people who've grown up with 2 languages and don't even separate them. They know you talk this way to one person and you talk this way to another person. There certainly happens with children. There are others who react differently. What kind of cognitive processes are going on, nobody understands. It's much too complex. Even in the study of simple organisms like insects, they're investigated in abstraction from complex circumstances. So, for example, if you're studying the communication system of bees, you don't look at what happens in the actual world. That's far too complex. Experimental situations are constructed in which you investigate what they do, trying to eliminate many of the variables that interact. The same thing as doing if you're studying the laws of motion. To try to take a look at an actual complex event in the world and try to comprehend it is extremely difficult. That's why physicists do experiments instead of taking videotapes of what's happening outside the window. What you're describing is like something that happens outside the window, except that it happens to be happening inside your brain in ways that we don't have the technology to detect. So sure, it's going to be much too complex to try to find anything more than very general observations and but there won't be any serious explanations at this point in time. You don't even understand the simple case of a purely monolingual person and how that person is comprehending, interpreting, and producing thoughts. Even that's an extremely difficult problem when you have interaction among a number of systems interacting in fact by cultural or social circumstances. There are just too many variables.